Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and welcome to the Elder Scrolls 6 Wishlist series, a series designed to help dictate the future of the Elder Scrolls franchise, every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or at least I try to bring you guys all your wishes. What we want Bethesda to leave in the past, what we want them to take inspiration from, what we want to have them carry over from previous BGS games, and so on. We get all of that right here. Today's wish is going to be focusing on the Daedra, specifically the Daedric questline. This wish comes from Kitty, the cat Nabul. Ha 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 ha. Hilarious. Kitty says, improved Daedric quests. I would like not being the champion of every Daedric prince there is in one playthrough. It doesn't make sense to me that you can be a champion of two different princes that are openly antagonistic towards each other. I'd rather have Bethesda create a kind of Daedric prince quest line where you could have quest lines for various princes, sort of like the quest lines for the Thieves Guild or the Dark Brotherhood, which would be mutually exclusive and could include other princes in roles of primary antagonists. For example, Boethiah's questline would include her/his enemy, Molag Bal, as a primary antagonist, with his priests and followers as enemies. It's just a little thought I had while replaying Oblivion, running around clad in Daedric artifacts, thinking about what nonsense it sometimes was. I feel adding these questlines will make us replay the game again, wanting to see things through the eyes of a follower of another prince, not just as a pawn for one single quest, after which we'd get powerful artifacts, which should be given to a more permanent champion. So yes, here comes the ultimate division in what I'd say is every single Bethesda Game Studios game. I think all of us are guilty of enjoying a bit of the power trip, not the ultimate god mode that some Bethesda Game Studios games are guilty of, where you can't get killed, you have the best items in the games, combat's pretty meaningless, it's just about that story, and the actual loyal to the lore storytelling, giving us multiple options. I am more along the sides of giving us multiple options and more reasons to replay this title to make my playthrough feel unique. That's a common theme in this series. It's a theme that I think all of us as Bethesda Game Studios and role-playing game fans in general share. With that said, I like the path that Kitty's taking. It also makes these quests condensed so there's less Daedric quest lines, and I'm not sure which way that would rub fans. Would they like it where we'd have, for example, two Daedric gods in one quest line and you have the option of getting one artifact or the other depending on who you ally yourself with? We'll use the example of Molag Bal and Boethiah. For example, I betray Boethiah, I side with Molag Bal. Do I get his mace at the end of the quest, or do I stick with Boethiah and get that artifact instead? You get what I'm saying here? Where I like what they're doing, but what also felt special about the Daedric quests, for example, in Skyrim, was that each one was individual, each one was focused down and made it feel special. But like Kitty said, it doesn't make sense to earn all these different artifacts if you're not a permanent champion. But also, this is where the tear happens. Does Bethesda sit down, look at the game and go, well, it would be a lot of fun to have all these cool, wild quest lines, because I personally thought the biggest highlight of the writing and the quests in general in Skyrim was the Daedric questlines, but on the other hand, do they want to condense that experience for more replayability? I think a lot of that sadly is based off of metrics nowadays, where they're like, okay, let's look at the numbers. How many people start up another playthrough for our games? If a lot of people do, then yeah, let's reward them for that because more people are doing that. But if we're looking at the numbers and it's a huge outweighed number of people just doing one playthrough and being done, then moving on to the next game, then maybe they want to compress it all into one playthrough, which is why you see all these split up quest lines. It's a sad truth in our industry. Very few developers don't value that replayability as much anymore. But I'm getting off track with this initial wish. I like the idea of quest lines with multiple choices, no matter what the case is personally, and I love me some choice and consequence. This would offer a unique form of it, because one of the best strengths in a Bethesda Game Studios game is the unique weapons and armor that they offer you, and to have a split choice amongst that is great, and it wouldn't be too foreign for the game itself. Once again, we're going to roll back to Skyrim, where there were certain quest lines that you ended up having a choice between two Daedric artifacts at the end. So why not, instead of just having two artifacts under one god split up, which is another form of choice and consequence, make it a little bit more major and have two gods tied into the same storyline facing off. That does tie in the issue of quests feeling a little samey. Is it always going to be Daedric god versus Daedric god? How are they going to make these feel different? That's the other pro of Bethesda, having each one individually focus on the attitude, the personality in general of these Daedric gods, is that we get something different in the terms of narrative. So like I said, it's a hard balance to strike between gameplay pros and cons, the narrative, the lore. It's a lot of choices Bethesda has to make. If I'm sitting there in the Bethesda drawing board room pitching the idea, I'd say let's reward the gamers with the replayability they deserve. Let's make our game the most replayable game ever made. That's what I'd go for personally, and this would most certainly bolster that, as if you had the choice and consequence amongst Daedric artifacts. And what would be even cooler is that there was choice and consequence amidst the storyline in general, which would obviously be siding with one god or another, and so on. For me personally, I'm not going to speak for every Elder Scrolls fans, I'd rather them not make them quest lines like the Thieves Guild or the Dark Brotherhood in the sense of linearity, where you're going down that same quest line as everyone else. Anyway, that'll do it for this week's Elder Scrolls 6 wishlist. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure, as always, to fire away in the comments down below on what you guys want to see in the next entry of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. The links are in the description down below. Do consider supporting my Patreon. It helps fuel all the content we create here. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.